These are times Paddy Pimblett humbled cocky guys for being disrespectful.
I'm gonna kick his ass, I'm gonna laugh.
I just see him doing this little thing.
This is tight.
And the elbow is running, it's gonna be done!
There it is.
That's it, it's done!
Paddy Pimblett by submission in round 1.
I felt like I lost a Super Bowl, and it is what it is.
Paddy Pimblett is often seen as cocky and overhyped, but the numbers tell a different story. With 9 straight wins, 7 of them by finish, and a trail of loudmouth opponents left humbled, Paddy has done more than talk on routes to the top 5, and one of Paddy's earliest humblings came against Kazula Vargas, who called Paddy overrated only to get some sense smacked into him. Heading into their fight in 2022, Kazula Vargas thought Paddy wasn't as good as everyone said.
I actually think he's a bit of a kid. You know, he's got good things, but he's got a lot of bad things as well. So
you feel he's overrated as a fighter?
it's probably overrated.
Kazula even saw a ton of holes in Pimblett's game that he was looking forward to exploiting.
I think he's got a lot of holes in his fights, and we'll try and take advantage of that.
Paddy didn't listen to the people who didn't believe in him because he knew who he was and what he came to do.
I've always said it from the time I was an amateur. I want to be the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Even though Paddy was focused on his fight with Vargas, he kept arguing with Ilia Topuria, and they even got into a scuffle backstage. Because of the way Paddy was acting, Vargas thought that he was just a man-child.
Lo veo como un niño, güey. O sea, es un niño de 28 años. En mi tierra, a los 28 años ya eres un hombre. Ya estás en otro chip, en otro canal. Vienes, estás en una, pues, en un canal de madurez diferente. Yo creo que él es un niño.
Even though Vargas did a lot of talking before the fight, things went easy for Paddy once they got into the cage, as Paddy took control and won with a rear naked choke in the first round. After his big win, a lot of people in the MMA world gave Paddy major props, but he didn't make a fuss about it as he felt it was just another day at the office for him.
I've said it before. I reckon in a past life, lad, I was a gladiator in the Colosseum because I was just meant to do this.
By this time, Paddy was finally getting the credit he deserved, but he still had to face a lineup of cocky fighters like Jordan Levitt, who would be the next guy to face a brutal reality check at the hands of Paddy. In the summer of 2022, Paddy Pimblett stepped back into the cage to face Jordan Levitt, a sassy and talkative opponent who had plenty to say before the fight, including his claim that he didn't know who Paddy was until he saw him make his UFC debut.
When you look at the fight itself, what have you made of Paddy Pimblett in the UFC, and how do you think you stack up against him?
I feel like you separate all the flash from this fight. It's not very interesting at all. I don't follow him on social media, and I didn't really know about Paddy until his debut, so I don't think I'm gonna be starstruck. I don't really see him as a star.
Even though Paddy was a rising star and beating him could have been a huge boost for Levitt's career, Jordan didn't seem too excited about the fight. He believed he was way better than Paddy and didn't see it as much of a challenge.
You know, on paper, I'm not too interested in this matchup, to be honest. So,
What exactly about it are you not interested in?
I kind of fought a grappler last fight, and they lead to boring fights, and I think I'm a little too smart to make a lot of the mistakes that a lot of his opponents have made. If I take him down, I'm not letting him up. If I hurt him, I'm not going to let off the pressure. And he's not the most accurate striker. He has one real knockout, and he's a regional champ, and I've fought all those things before, so.
Levitt was so sure he'd win that he even showed everyone exactly how he planned to celebrate after beating Paddy.
Just so we can make sure we still have the headline. The plan is still to knock him out and twerk on him afterwards?
Yeah, finish the fight, twerk, go home.
Paddy clapped back by warning Levitt that the only one celebrating would be him and by teabagging Levitt right there in the cage.
What do you think he's coming from with this? Is he just trying to get in your head?
Yeah, he's just trying to get in my head, being a little weirdo like he is, but no one can out-weird me. I'm weirder than anyone.
Is there a chance you twerk over him if he gets
I want to teabag him, lad. I want to teabag him like it's Modern Warfare 2.
Paddy went on claiming that Levitt was such an easy opponent that even his dead nan could beat him.
Me nan's dead and she'd finish him, know what I mean?
The fight started off close with both Paddy and Levitt having their moments, but Paddy ultimately took control by blasting Levitt with a big knee and submitting him in the second round before teabagging him after the win. Despite a devastating loss, Levitt continued to be cocky as he called the O2 Arena where he lost, as well as Paddy's hometown of Liverpool, a dump.
The UK is the size of Alabama, man. Like, that's very small.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that, you know, one of their guys in this little small blip of the world is that popular, how could you not follow him, you know? He's from Liverpool. Liverpool's a dump, you know? Like, and so is the O2 Arena is also a dump.
So anyway, after taking out Levitt, Paddy grabbed another win and finally landed his first big name opponent, the legendary Tony Ferguson, who was full of confidence and trash talk, but Paddy made him eat his words with a performance that humbled the veteran in a big way. Heading into UFC 296, Ferguson came in swinging with words, claiming that he'd turned Pimblett's face into a ketchup sandwich.
I'm gonna hit him hard. I'm gonna set the pace. I'm gonna make his face a ketchup sandwich, is what I tell my kid. And I'm gonna go in there and use my blades and my technique.
Paddy was busy doing his thing on social media, hyping up the fight with his usual banter and antics, but Ferguson wasn't having it and he ended up blocking Paddy, saying he wasn't about that life anymore.
When you look at Paddy as a prospect, what do you think of him and his ability in the cage?
He's a fighter and he's in my way. I don't really have too many words for it. The seriousness comes out the closer we get to fight. He's worried about me blocking him on fucking Instagram, and I'm like, you're a little bitch. It's like, if you're gonna talk fucking shit, man up and fucking keep your balls between your legs. Don't drop them like a little bitch.
The social media drama spilled over into the press conferences where Paddy and Ferguson went at it face to face.
You care about me blocking you on Instagram? That's what you care about. You care about the most stupidest shit.
No, I
I'm
don't.
more worried about everybody else.
You must care because you blocked me. I'm not that much of a little pussy to block someone on Instagram.
You know what? I'm not that sensitive, bitch. I don't even have to fucking look at you.
Little sensitive boy. Don't call me a little boy. I made you my little boy, making you block.
Go make me a cup of tea, bitch.
All the constant back and forth trash talk made Ferguson seriously angry and more determined to break his 6 fights losing streak by finishing Paddy in brutal fashion.
You have no fucking clue, kid. You're bringing the heat out of me right now on Saturday.
I know. I can't wait to bring the heat out of you. I hope the old Tony turns up, not this all washed up
Well,
version.
here we go. We got a heartbeat out of you now because earlier you were fucking boring as
Do
shit.
something then, know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stop
cool,
talking.
While their pre-fight trash talk was neck and neck, the actual fight at UFC 296 told a different story. Paddy rocked Ferguson early on and then completely took over with his wrestling, controlling all 3 rounds for a dominant decision victory. After the fight, Paddy showed respect to Ferguson, saying that it was surreal to fight a legend like him.
It was surreal to fight someone like Tony Ferguson, but you know, I've got people like RDA mentioning me already, lad, so it's not going to be long before I fight someone else with a name like that.
While Ferguson didn't give Paddy his props right after the fight, a couple of years later he finally did, as he admitted that Paddy has a bright future ahead of him. Ferguson even unblocked him on Instagram, which was a small but clear sign of respect.
I think the kid has a bright future in this sport. I think he's doing a good thing. I never hated on the kid. I even unblocked him on Instagram.
While Ferguson and Pimblett showed real sportsmanship after all their trash talk, Bobby King Green was a whole different story before the fight and after it. And when Paddy humbled him in the cage, it wasn't just brutal, it was downright satisfying to watch. At UFC 304, Paddy Pimblett went head-to-head with Bobby King Green in a fight that had been brewing for a long time. The tension between them started well before the bout was even made official, with Green constantly throwing shade at Paddy's skills and mocking his fighting style every chance he got.
I don't watch his fights, so I really don't know much about the guy. I just see him doing this little thing. I'm like, who does that? Who does that?
Green even went as far as saying that Paddy was just a UFC project and not a fighter who had truly earned his place by climbing the ranks the hard way.
He doesn't realize the UFC's working with him, giving him every opportunity. They're building you. I had to earn it. They had to put me through the fire. I've been forged by fire. They built you, you know, and there's a difference between us too.
Green also claimed he could spot a real warrior from a mile away, but when he looked at Paddy, he didn't feel the same way.
He's not bad at nothing, okay? But I don't know. I just see like oh, you're not like, there's certain levels at this that you can see, because I've been on the war field so long that I can look at a warrior and go, oh, that's a warrior right there. I can see, oh, he's a warrior, she's a warrior. And I went, oh, he doesn't know that. Oh, he does this thing. He doesn't do that well. Interesting. He should know that by now if he thinks he's this and that, you know?
When it came to fight predictions, Green was confident he'd toy with Pimblett inside the cage.
I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to fucking talk shit to him because I know what I'm doing. Like, he doesn't know what he's about to get into. He couldn't find a guy in England that looked like me or moved like me. He couldn't find not one person here.
Green was at his trash-talking best, but Paddy didn't hold back either, as he boldly predicted he'd shut Green up for good with a brutal knockout.
No one want to come out and try and take his head off his fucking shoulders.
When the cage door closed, both fighters traded low kicks early, but Paddy's strikes were cleaner and one of his kicks dropped Green to the mat. Green scrambled with a takedown attempt, but Paddy stuffed it easily before wrapping up a guillotine and then smoothly transitioning into a triangle choke to put King to sleep in the first round. Green was so devastated by the loss that he admitted it hurt badly, and you could see it in his face and hear it in his voice when he spoke.
A mistake I made, can just slept on a banana peel, and shit happens like that, you know? I felt like I lost a Super Bowl, and it is what it is. That shit hurt real bad, you know? That shit hurt real bad.
While Green couldn't bring himself to fully credit Paddy for the win, saying it was just a mistake that cost him the fight, Paddy took the high road as he said he had nothing but respect for Green.
It's nothing but respect with Bobby. Hopefully, when I get back to the hotel, we get to see each other and have a little ale with each other or something.
With another tough, cocky opponent out of the way, Paddy set his sights on an even bigger challenge in Michael Chandler, and in that fight, Paddy proved he truly belonged among the top lightweights in the game. Heading into their showdown at UFC 314, Michael Chandler was coming off a tough loss to Charles Oliveira that had cost him a potential shot at the lightweight title, and he made it clear he planned to take all that frustration out on Paddy Pimblett.
Unfortunately, I got to take it out on Paddy Pimblett, but somebody was going to get it taken out on their face and their body and their soul months after that loss, because that was a very painful one.
As for his prediction, Chandler said he was confident he'd take out Pimblett and start his 2025 with a bang.
I got a sneaky suspicion I'm keeping my ranking. I'm going to have a very emphatic win. I'm going to rip off some backflips, rip off a promo, call some people out, and have a nice big 2025.
Paddy was fully aware of Chandler's reputation of using dirty tricks in the cage, and he was prepared for it.
Some people have accused Michael Chandler, fans and past opponents, of maybe being a dirty fighter, of cheating, fish hooking, shots to the back of the head. Wondering, do you agree with that? Do you see him as a dirty fighter?
He's the nicest man in the world outside the cage, and when he gets in it, he's a dirty bastard, isn't he?
On fight night at UFC 314, Chandler tried every trick in the book, from targeting Paddy's groin to punching him in the back of the head. But Paddy still stole the show, lighting Chandler up on the feet, landing brutal knees, and then dominating him on the ground with relentless ground and pound to seal a dominant TKO win in the third round.
He hit me with about 4 punches in the back of the head in the first round. You know what I mean? Not even got said to him. But you never know, he might have kicked me on purpose because he needed a little break. Everyone was questioning my cardio going into this fight, saying that I wouldn't be able to keep up a pace with Mike. And it was him that was gassing, not me. I felt fresh. So because of that, when he kicked me in the balls, it was a flush kick as well. It was me dick and my balls was still hurting.
Chandler was thoroughly humbled after the fight, and he didn't make excuses, unlike some of Paddy's past opponents.
Hats off to Paddy. He had a great game plan. Went out there and got the win.
These were times Paddy Pimblett destroyed cocky fighters for being disrespectful. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out times where cocky UFC fighters got destroyed and humbled by their opponents.